Shady, I had this grandiose thought. I know you're going to disagree with me. Why? Because we've already talked about it off camera, but let's bring it on camera. I believe that the Eagles can get exposed by the Niners on Sunday. I am not saying that they will, but I believe that they can get exposed by the Niners. I remember week 4 of the season when Jason Kelce said, look, everybody feels we need to play better, myself included. I remember a week later when Jalen Hurts said we haven't played our best ball. I know that. Jason Kelce knows that. Jalen Hurts knows that. I don't believe any team outside of the San Francisco 49ers can actually expose the fact that the Eagles are not playing great football. They are still winning, but not playing great football. The Niners have the ability to expose that because the 49ers are very, very, very simple. They're bust or blowout. They either will lose or they will blow you out, and it's not going to be very fun. The games the Niners have won, only one has been by single digits. Every other game, get off the field. You don't belong on the field with us. Hey, Jags, I understand 5-game win streak, get off the field. Hey, Dallas Cowboys, I understand 5-game win streak, 4-1, get off the field. Ooh. The Niners are bust or they are blowout. The Eagles will either win this game or the Niners will expose the fact that the Eagles haven't been playing their best ball, and finally it will catch up to them. Bills almost did it. They almost did. The Chiefs almost did it. I think the Niners have the ability to actually.
Before I give you my take, I just want to ask you one question. So, if the Bills or the Chiefs
yes, sir,
beat the Eagles, they expose them?
Beat? No, sir.
But they beat them bad.
If they blew them out, they would have exposed them. Yes, sir.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think that the Eagles or the Niners can be exposed, no matter what the points margin is. When you're talking about two elite football teams, how can they be exposed? Let's say the Eagles get blown out by, let me go the other way. Let's say the Niners get blown out by 30 points. What does that mean, though? Because
good. Go ahead. Let me cook.
Because I watch people on this desk, my boy to the left, and I watch people on TV and the fans talk bad about the Niners when they weren't playing well. Now they're playing well, so they can expose the Eagles. You can't expose championship caliber football teams. I'll give you an example. When I was 2020, when I was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady, one of the greats of all time, the best football player we've seen, we got exposed, I guess, in your words. Because we got smoked by the Saints. 38-3.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did. I remember that.
Okay, so my thing is, in football, things can go bad. Bad reads, bad game plans, getting out-coached. Yep. Hall of Fame quarterback Tom Brady made a wrong read. Leonard Fournette might have fumbled the ball. Anything can happen. It's football. You play against top teams. And then one thing about playing two good teams, if one team is slipping, they're playing bad, the other team is really good, they'll capitalize on it, right? And that makes the blowouts. But that don't mean you can't win a championship. And if I win a championship, how can I be exposed? If I'm a champion, how can I be exposed? So when we went when we got our trophy and our rings and all that, you think the Saints said, yeah, we exposed them in week whatever that was?
Yeah.
That don't even make sense. We champions, you expose us? You know what? I'll let y'all take it. If you gonna expose a champion, that don't even make sense.
Well, see, I think you're going off of season. I'm going off a week.
Oh, okay.
If one of these teams get blown out, you have been exposed by that other team because we label you two as the two best teams in football.
Right.
And if you go out here as the two best teams in football and one of you guys get blown out, you have been exposed. You are not on our level. This is different over here at the link. Or this is different over here with Brock Purdy. You have been exposed, period. I'm not saying this is not change. This game will not change any of these teams' Super Bowl hopes. But for this week, if you get blown out, if the Niners blow the Eagles out, you have been exposed. The Eagles have not blown nobody out all season long. The Eagles have found ways to win close games, but they are not playing as good as the 49ers. And then if you are going to get blown out by the Niners, there ain't no coming back. The Niners ain't going to give up no lead. You have been exposed. If it goes the other way, the Niners coming in here with their quarterback, 3-game winning streak, whatever it may be, playing good on both sides of the ball, and you get beat down for this week, Shady, you are exposed. You are not as good as us. These are the two best teams. This is the two best teams. I'm going to say the two best. If you get blown out either team, you have been exposed for this week.
Give me your anecdotal story. Shady gave us his. He won a championship in 2020 with the 2021 with the Bucks, lost 33 with the Saints. He says they didn't get exposed. You were on a 6-0 team with the Packers. You played a 6-0 Broncos team. You felt as though you did get exposed. Give me the other side of the coin.
Yeah, we played a 6-0 Broncos team, going up in there, feeling good about ourselves, feeling like we was finna beat the brakes off of them, and they whooped us. And we walked off of that field getting exposed like we are not as good as them. They went on to win the Super Bowl. But walking off that field, at least me, I won't speak for the rest of my teammates, but at least me, I felt like we are not on the level of this football team that just beat the brakes off us. For this week, I'm not saying I left the stadium like, man, we ain't gonna win no championship, but I knew we are not on the level of them. Period. At this stage of the season, we are not on the level. For this week, we are not on the level of Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware and Aqib Talib and Chris Harris. We ain't on their level. They are playing at a whole different level, and that's what this game means. Y'all ain't on our level, especially if it's a blowout. You have been exposed. Y'all ain't on our level, and really, you know, y'all better hope y'all don't see us again. That's what this game is going to say.
So if y'all played 10 times, they blow y'all out every time?
Walking off that field, yes. I think they clearly were the better football team than us that day, especially the way they beat us. It wasn't even close, Shady.
I guess we played in 2 different leagues. I don't know. I disagree that, but I could be wrong. I don't know everything.
I've been in the business since 2007.
Ooh.
I have an honorary doctorate for what I've accomplished in the business. I've hosted 3 network television shows, been at Fox Sports 1 for 8 years.
Yeah.
If I have a bad show, I got exposed. I mean, your resume don't mean anything. It gotta mean something. I'm with Shady. Exposed is a real, I mean, if you tell me like you got exposed, like
Got exposed?
Damn,
You a fraud.
I'm a fraud. Like, I
Boy.
don't have no substance whatsoever. I'm like, yo, you
show.
see how they expose them? Like, that feels like, woo, like, man, you gotta come back from that.
Yeah.
If the Niners expose the Eagles, they beat them by whatever, they blow them out by any
21,
number, whatever,
22,
they blow them
right.
out. And then next week, they get blown out by Seattle. Did Seattle expose the Niners? Because the Niners just exposed the Eagles, and then so on and so forth until the end of time. What you do and what your resume is and what your consistency is, what you consistently do has to matter. It is the NFL. This is the best of the best. If the Eagles lose to the Niners or the Niners lose to the Eagles, none of us are going to come in here the next week thinking either of these teams aren't capable of getting to the NFC Championship game or winning it. This is why I push back on everything that we talk about with Dallas, with them not beating anybody. I don't care. It matters to me what perennially contending teams do in the postseason. I understand. I might be a little different like that. I care about the legacy. I care about what you do when it matters. Once you've reached a certain level, there's a core 4 for me right now. The Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Niners, the Eagles. They have reputations. They have built equity with me. That means week to week, I don't need to fly off the handle about your performance. Like Shady said, when you're playing, 2 good teams are playing, and 1 good team has a bad day, that other good team doesn't have a bad day, they're going to take advantage of every mistake. You turn it over, they're going to score. You make a bad read, they're going to intercept it because they're good on good. That's why I get hesitant about saying, however, the outcome of this game is not going to change my opinion dramatically.
Right.
Will I say, okay, maybe the Niners are playing better football right now than the Eagles? Will I say, okay, maybe the Eagles are actually capable of beating anyone on any day, whether they play well or play good or whatever? But to say it's going to expose them, to me, means that they're not as good as we think they are. And I think the Eagles have done enough this season. I think the Niners have done enough this season. I think Shanahan has done enough. I think Nick Sirianni has done enough. Jalen Hurts has done enough that 1 week of bad play for whatever reason is not going to make me feel like they're not capable of doing everything that I think they're capable of. And the same for the Niners.
I think that's fair. I love this show because I love respecting other people's thoughts. I think it's fair. I think the way Shady feels and the way Joy feels, I think it's 1,000% fair. Now, I lean on the side of James. Like, I'm with you. Is like if a team is great, I don't think they get blown out. And a blowout to me isn't just about a scoreboard. To me, a blowout is more so about, like, also how did it look. When Shady played that 38-3 game, I was an analyst at the time. He was on the field. The Bucs weren't that good. To me, the Bucs won 8 straight games in order to win a Super Bowl. You were there. You were in the forest. I'm standing outside looking at it. 8 straight. They got a lot better. As an analyst, as a player, you know way better than I inside the locker room. No, early on in the season, no. I believe the Saints beat y'all twice in the regular season. Y'all went back and beat them in the playoffs en route to winning a Super Bowl. So I didn't think the Bucs were that good early on. Shouldn't have been. Antonio Brown was acquired in the middle of the season. Lenny Fournette was acquired in the offseason. Tom Brady had just showed up. Rob Gronkowski there. B.A. is a completely different head coach than Bill Belichick. Bruce Arians, completely different coach than Bill Belichick, so shouldn't have been. But if the Niners blow out the Eagles, I think I will look and be like, they've been finding ways to win. The main thing is the main thing. But them other things finally matter.
But if you do it that way, you can never be wrong.
That's another.
Elaborate on what
If
that
you
means.
say, like, okay, when they lost at this point in the season, they weren't the same team that they were at this point in the season, then you're always right. Because you're just saying that this is a different team, that they were a different team when they won the championship than they were when they played the Saints. And maybe you did add a piece or two. But, like, then you can always be right. This is like it was never the same team.
Wait, to her point. So, was you said that when we won a championship, we were a great team then?
Yes. But here's my thought process.
Okay.
Here's my thought process. Number one, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, I might need your help off camera.
I can help him out too.
Antonio Brown, when did he arrive?
He had this little suspension. Yeah, he got the fifth game, something like that. Something
I
like that.
believe on the field, Antonio Brown is a first ballot Hall of Fame
No
talent.
question.
So I believe adding Antonio Brown to a Buccaneers team, they are not the same team. I also believe Antonio Brown scored in the Super Bowl. So in the most important game, he also once again proved his value. So quite literally, Antonio Brown, his first game being Week 9, I do believe that they were literally a different team.
So one player made us a great team to win the Super Bowl. Is that what you're telling me?
I think in addition to getting better, I think it helped. Now, really what I think is this. Like, I really think that unless you get significantly better, then that exposure means something to me. The Dallas Cowboys, until I see them beat a really good team, the fact that the Niners blew them out, that means something. Until I see the Dolphins beat a good team, the fact that the Bills blew them out, that means something. So that's where I stand.
But see, for me, though, like I said, for me, I'm week to week. If you get blown out this week, any one of these teams, you have been exposed. It's just like if you're a receiver. If I'm going up against Darrelle Revis and I'm having a heck of a year and this dude is a lockdown corner and I go out here and have 7 targets for 1 catch for 8 yards, that's exposed. That's him D'ing me up. So for me, player to player, he got the best of me that week and I've been exposed. Does that mean I ain't gonna come back next week and ball? Or does that mean my season is over? No, but for that week, I have been exposed. We're talking about a blowout, Shady.
All right, so let me just give you my point of view on this. So, like, exposed to somebody like Tim Tebow, right? He's really great in college. Gets to the league, you see what he really is. Would you agree with that? That's being exposed.
Well, that's
you a
not
fraud?
good.
No. You a first round? All these stats, all these trophies. You was this guy, Johnny Football.
Okay.
Right?
Johnny Manziel, yeah.
Exposed. Right? That's being exposed. But you telling me if I'm a dog and I'm if I'm a great player, right? And I go against Urlacher, right? He didn't, Urlacher. I'm going to say Urlacher. And he has a great game against me.
Yeah.
Is LeSean McCoy exposed because he had a bad game against my great? And then I go against Ray Lewis and I go at him and I do him up. You see what I'm saying? We talking about the elite of the elite. And you've been in games where we're a really, really good team and one thing happens bad. Then something else happened bad. Then it keeps rolling.
Yeah.
Drop pass. Deshaun Jackson beats the dude deep. He's gonna catch that. He drops it.
Yeah.
I fumble the ball. Like, you've been part of that. So when you telling me, like, one game can make you exposed sounds crazy because I've been on teams where you ball out, right? And these things don't happen. Or we played teams that was really, really good on tape. We watch them on tape like, yo, these boys is nice. Yeah. We whoop them bad. They not exposed. They had a bad game. If you keep getting blown every game, okay, cool. Like the Giants. But last example, I'm done. Last year, right, however you felt about them, they was winning some games they shouldn't have won. They was a bad team. They went all the way to the playoffs. That's why we said Brian Daboll is a hell of a coach. This year, you could say they got exposed because Danny Jones, right, gets all this money because they went to the playoffs. People was like, he might be decent. He might be better than we thought. That's what everybody was saying. He was trash before that. Trash. He gets to Brian Daboll. He might be kind of good. Let's pay him some money. And then when they paid him, I was like, they tripping. But some people say, I'm Shady, you tripping because he has some potential. We get to this season, he's exposed because this is that's what I'm saying. So when I break this thing down, it's like when you tell me 2 great teams, if one of them get blown out, they get exposed. Sounds crazy.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.